Coming up on Valley View News, another round of heavy rain hit Southern California, how residents are preparing for possible flooding, mudslides, and dangerous rip currents. Plus, the FDA approves a new treatment for melanoma, what it means for the future of skin cancer. And the Bob Marley biopic premiered this week along with Madam Web. We have the details on which movie is scoring at the box office.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Quinn Alexander.
And I'm Valeria Yanez.
Pull out your raincoats and umbrellas, the rain is back. It's been almost 2 weeks since a record-breaking storm that caused flooding and landslides throughout Southern California. On top of heavy rain, the National Weather Service says many areas see strong winds, cooler temperatures, and maybe even some snow. Though this second system will not be as strong as the last one, it still poses a significant risk for mudslides in recent burn areas and foothill communities. An evacuation warning has been issued along the Santa Maria Road north of Topanga Canyon Boulevard near Woodland Hills. Video from the Ventura County Fire Department shows how the flood caused heavy rain. There have been several freeway closures along the coast, including erosion concerns on PCH.
Over in Rancho Palos Verdes, people are worried about land movement caused by the rain. Since the last storm, emergency crews have been working hard to save damaged homes, all while preparing the town for the next rainfall. There have been several reports of cracks in buildings. One resident says her garage is now unusable due to the damage. Many have nowhere else to go, so all they can do is fill the cracks with the sandbags provided by the crews and hope their home will make it through the storm.
The storm is also set to bring several inches of fresh snow to the mountain communities. It's expected to draw tourists to the area. Valley View News' Jasmine Kuza shows us how the heavy snowfall is expected to generate a significant portion of the community's local economy.
A fresh coat of snow covers Big Bear Lake as an atmospheric river storm brought relentless rain to Southern California this past week.
Despite a late start this year, the fresh snowfall has brought many visitors to the mountain communities to enjoy outdoor winter activities. Ski resorts and rental shops in the San Bernardino Mountains are bustling with people hitting the slopes. The surge in tourism is bringing in a lot of revenue for the small towns, and local businesses in the area are reaping the benefits. Big Bear Mountain Resort is one of them.
Anytime the snow shows up, that's when people want to get up here and have some fun. Skiing, snowboarding, tubing, get out on the snow, take their family photos, all that fun stuff. So definitely seen an increase in volume as the month has gone on and expect that to continue, especially with more systems coming through.
The spirit is high at the mountaintop, and locals are wasting no time in embracing the winter wonderland that Big Bear has become.
I mean, I live up here. I've been watching the snow come down and fall, but it's awesome being up here now that we've got, boardable or skiable snow.
Forecasts show that the snow will fall through the winter. The Big Bear Chamber of Commerce expects thousands of tourists to flock the area, giving an even bigger boost to the local economy. Reporting from Big Bear, for Valley View, I'm Jasmine Kuza.
Thank you, Jasmine. An investigation is underway at West Covina Elementary School after a substitute teacher was allegedly caught watching adult content in class. West Covina School District says it has taken decisive action following the reports. With West Covina police sharing this statement from Chief Richard Bell, the substitute was removed from the classroom but not arrested due to lack of evidence. Parents were protesting this week outside the school.
A former Navy SEAL was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison for producing child pornography. The U.S. Attorney's Office says a Santa Clarita man was found guilty of secretly filming nude minors. Homeland Security received a tip that a 51-year-old Robert Quito Stella had accessed a child porn website in 2021. Investigators found hidden cameras used to film showers and bathrooms. He was charged with the intent to view and 2 counts of possession of child pornography.
New data from the National Association of Realtors reveals 2 California cities are among the top 10 metro areas in the U.S. where home prices climbed the most last year. Numbers show the Salinas area in Monterey County saw single-family home prices climb by 17% to a median of more than about $990,000. 8 California cities were in the top 10 most expensive markets in the country. Los Angeles ranked number 9 with over 5% increase.
Days after a 4.6 magnitude earthquake struck Malibu, experts say the risk for some aftershocks is very low, but Californians should be ready for a potential big earthquake. The U.S. Geological Survey's National Seismic Hazard Model says that most of California has at least a 75% chance of a damaging earthquake shaking in the next 100 years, with at least a 95% chance for the Los Angeles area. The new data also reveals the chances of a 7.0 magnitude earthquake in LA at any given time is 3% greater than noted in 2018.
Speaking of earthquakes, many gathered at CSUN to remember the deadly 1994 Northridge quake. Valley View News' Giselle O'Malley was there and tells us why seismologists say education is the best way for Angelenos to prepare for the so-called big one.
This year marks the 30th anniversary since the Northridge earthquake, and the city of Los Angeles is here at Cal State Northridge to commemorate January 17, 1994. Photos from the tragic day show the destruction of the massive 6.7 magnitude earthquake. City and county officials at the Quake Heroes Expo are also sharing what they have done since then to better prepare if another similar natural disaster strikes again. CSUN Vice President for Administration and Finance Colin Donahue says the rebuilding of Cal State Northridge included drawings to help first responders have easier access to buildings.
We actually have a group of people here on campus that are certified through OES.
Some attendees shared their stories and learned about the 7 steps to earthquake safety. Glenn Granholm is the Vice President of Safety Proof, a company that sells items to secure belongings from potential quake damage.
FEMA says that most of the damage in future California earthquakes will be because of people's stuff falling on them.
Granholm says other steps include creating an emergency plan, organizing emergency supplies, and taking cover. Seismic expert from Southern California Edison, Kenneth Hednett, says that California is long overdue for the big one.
Northridge was not the big one. We're talking much bigger.
Hednett says the Northridge earthquake encouraged Southern California Edison to work harder to get the best and quickest answers possible. Officials say they recommend everyone to practice the 7 early steps in order to stay prepared. Reporting in Northridge for Valley View News, I'm Giselle O'Malley.
Giselle, thank you. Authorities have taken down a retail theft operation that involved $8 million in stolen beauty products. The retail crime operation happened in more than 21 California counties, and over 200 reported thefts took place in Ulta beauty stores. Federal investigators requested the CHP form the Organized Retail Crime Task Force to help. It has since recovered thousands of stolen goods valued at $41 million. Authorities say these crimes have been ongoing for the past 10 years.
A concerning new trend is on the rise here in Southern California. Authorities say scammers are posing as law enforcement officers. The LA County Sheriff's Department says in one of the calls, the scammer pretends to need to speak with the call recipient about an urgent criminal matter. The other scam involves the caller asking for support for a sheriff's department campaign. Investigators say scammers often know some details regarding their victims. Authorities say they will never make a phone call to collect money. When in doubt, hang up and call the law enforcement agency official phone number.
There's no scam about this next story. It's Lunar New Year. CSUN students shared with me how they are observing the holiday celebrated across several cultures. January 1st marks the beginning of the Gregorian calendar, but February 10th is the beginning of the lunar calendar. The Asian American Studies Pathways Project hosted a Lunar New Year and Tet celebration a few days early as part of the USU Cultural Welcomes. 2 days before the start of the Lunar New Year, the Glenomatsu House at Cal State Northridge was packed with around 60 students who came to celebrate the Year of the Dragon.
I think it's great to have, a culturally relevant space on campus where students can celebrate a holiday together.
Students were able to write their hopes and dreams for the year to hang on the wishing tree. Festivities also included a screening of Disney Pixar's Turning Red, karaoke, and of course no celebration is complete without the food.
Today we had Thai food at the Glenomatsu House. The thing that I love about Lunar New Year is the food.
Lunar New Year celebrates the beginning of spring and is mostly observed in Chinese, Vietnamese, and Korean culture. Typically, festivities last around 15 days, so Asian American Studies Acting Department Chair Gina Mesakesme says it's hard to condense the essence of a holiday into just one afternoon.
Of course, when you come here to the U.S., you don't get that holiday. In fact, you don't even get one, let alone 3 or 15 days of celebration.
The holiday is commonly referred to as Chinese New Year in the United States, and while the term is not necessarily offensive, it is considered insensitive because they're not the only ones celebrating.
Calling it Chinese, even though some folks are Vietnamese or Korean, is not a true description of what it is. Lunar New Year is the generic name.
The Lantern Festival marks the end of the Lunar New Year celebrations and will occur on February 24th this year. While there are no events planned on the CSUN campus, there will be a handful of celebrations around the LA County area. Reporting in Northridge for Valley View News, I'm Quinn Alexander. Speaking of Lunar New Year, over the weekend, the Chinese Chamber of Commerce of Los Angeles held the 125th Annual Golden Dragon Parade. Video shows the celebration of lion dancers and music groups marching down the streets. Over 100,000 spectators filled the streets of North Broadway in Chinatown, which came alive with culture.
More to come on Valley View News. Mark Zuckerberg denies trying Elon Musk's brain chip. And a Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce signed jersey was up for auction, and you won't believe how much it sold for. That's coming up after the break.
If you're buzzed and doing this to make yourself feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive.
When I never graduated from high school, I realized I wanted to go back to school because I didn't want to work these back-breaking jobs the rest of my life. With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed to come back to school. I felt accomplished, made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back. Let's travel to news overseas. Edward Segal is in our Digital Media Center with the latest international updates. Edward?
Thank you, Quinn. The United Nations Court is set to decide the legality of Israel's occupation of lands claimed by Palestine. The case will focus on Israel's 57-year occupation of Gaza, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem. Palestine's legal team said the representatives will argue that Israel violated the prohibition on territorial conquest and the Palestinians' right to self-determination. Israel is not scheduled to speak at the 6-day hearing, but could submit a written statement. The court will likely take months to rule. International concern over a potential Israeli ground offensive in Rafah, the southernmost city in Gaza, comes after Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has threatened to invade the city near the Egyptian border. The city is filled with more than 1 million Palestinians, many of whom were displaced because of the conflict and are struggling to find food and water. Thousands of people gathered in Tel Aviv to protest the Israeli government's actions. Netanyahu said Palestinians would be allowed to leave Rafah and go to a city north that he says has a lot of space. The U.S.'s commitment to NATO continues to be in question if former President Donald Trump returns to the White House. Trump made a statement last weekend saying that he would encourage Russia to attack members of NATO who don't meet their spending targets. Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley tells ABC News she was shocked at the comment.
When you hear Donald Trump say in South Carolina a week ago that he would encourage Putin to invade our allies if they weren't pulling their weight. That's bone-chilling.
The U.S. Congress passed a bill in December preventing the president from withdrawing from the alliance without a two-thirds vote in the Senate. Former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton is taking her rival's words seriously. She says it's more likely that Trump would just refuse to fund NATO, leaving the U.S. there in name only. There was an earthquake scare in Mexico over the weekend. A 4.8 magnitude jolt hit near Acapulco, Mexico, Saturday afternoon. It struck in the state of Guerrero, about 26 miles away from the resort town. No damage or injuries have yet been reported. That's the very latest from the Digital Media Center. I'm Edward Segal. Back to you.
Thank you, Edward. Some of the world's best economies like Japan and the United Kingdom are in recession, but the US is standing strong. Last year's fourth quarter made a recession seem unavoidable due to high interest rates combating inflation. Despite this, many US households are still spending, and higher pay raises are helping them catch up to higher priced goods and services. Heavy borrowing by the US government could upset markets, and growing losses could negatively affect the financial system. Although the US may be better off than other economies, same economists say a recession is still possible.
Meantime, the former president has been ordered to pay nearly $355 million in penalties in a civil fraud case that has dealt a stunning blow to his family's business empire. The ruling will ban Trump from serving as an officer or director of any New York corporation for 3 years, and his sons for 2 years.
Will appeal, will be successful, I think, because frankly, if we're not successful, New York State is gone. People are moving out of New York State, and because of this, they're going to move out at a much faster rate.
The case was brought against the former president 2.5 months ago after documents showed he inflated assets value to make more money. Trump says he plans to appeal the ruling.
Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is not comfortable with trying out brain chip implants. An episode of the Morning Brew Daily podcast, Zuckerberg suggested neural interfaces that involves putting a chip in your brain could be a future possibility, but says he would not want to use the first version. Brain chips are garnering more attention after Elon Musk announced the first human trial of the brain chip company, Neuralink, in January. However, there are a few details on the trial's progress.
In other news, blood donation centers across California are experiencing a blood shortage. Valley View News' Matthew Bragula tells us how an organization is using blood drives and bloodmobiles to reach more potential donors.
Donating blood inside a truck might seem unusual, but it's how healthcare systems like Vitalant try to compensate for the current blood shortage. Vitalant's senior account manager in Ventura, Sherry DeVillers, says the blood donation levels are typically low at the beginning of the year because would-be donors get busy during the holidays.
We like to have at least a 4-day supply of most blood types. Right now we're at a 2-day supply of most blood types. So we're trying to make sure that we don't fall deeper into a shortage.
Even though it may look cramped, the truck has the essential equipment to complete donations. DeVillers says the desire to work at home has also contributed to the shortage, so being able to move the equipment from location to location makes it easier for possible donors. Melanie Lee learned about the blood shortage and the blood drive just a day before coming in.
I just found out about it. I literally just got called yesterday. Then they said, yeah, there's a blood shortage. Can you donate? I was like, absolutely.
In 2022, Vitalant revealed that only 3% of Americans donate blood, although most are eligible. Eliza Woolley says she encourages others to donate and work through fears they may have about it.
The benefits of donating blood, it far outweighs the discomfort or pain or crying. So you can literally save a life with this.
Vitalant hosts 1 to 3 blood drives every day in bloodmobiles like the one you see behind me in multiple locations in Ventura County and Santa Barbara County. Reporting from Ventura, California, I'm Matthew Bragula for Valley View News.
Matthew, thank you. The Food and Drug Administration has approved a groundbreaking treatment for melanoma. The cancer therapy is believed to change the way doctors treat aggressive tumors. It's called MTAG-Me, and it's for metastatic melanoma patients who have tried other drugs but were not successful. The therapy boosts the number of immune cells inside a tumor, giving it the ability to fight the cancer off. The first time a cellular therapy has been approved to fight solid tumors. The drug has been fast-tracked and approved after results from phase 2 clinical trials had a good outcome. There will be a third trial on the drug. The list price for the drug is $15,000 before insurance and potential discounts.
When we come back, the Met Gala has announced their co-chairs, including some fan favorites. Also, NCAA women's basketball star breaks a major record. Stay with us.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
How you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Thank you.
A place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Welcome back. Movie lovers are showing a lot of love to the biopic spotlighting a legendary reggae star.
To think that jamming was a thing of the past.
Market research from ComScore says Bob Marley, One Love, has taken an estimated $51 million at its first 6 days, nearly double the $25 million of Sony's Madam Web's, Marvel's latest saga about a female superhero. It marks the second straight disappointment for Marvel since last year's poor showing of The Marvels. Both films debuted on Valentine's Day.
Legendary musician Paul McCartney has been reunited with his original bass guitar after it was stolen more than 50 years ago. The search for the Hofner 500 bass guitar used on Beatles songs like Twist and Shout started in 2018. Last year, McCartney's studio was contacted by a family that learned about the search and realized they had bought the guitar from the thief without knowing what they had. The guitar was returned to McCartney this past December and was proven to be the real thing earlier this month. I can't believe the thief didn't even realize that he had McCartney's guitar.
Yeah, I wonder if they had any defining features on the guitar.
Definitely, it has to be. It's a Legends guitar, after all.
The People's Choice Awards were handed out last night with Barbie star Simu Liu as host. A small recap of some of the big winners of the night were Barbie for Movie of the Year and Comedy of the Year. Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie won Male and Female Movie Star of the Year, along with America Ferrera, who won the award for Movie Performance of the Year presented by Billie Eilish.
America Ferrera! You, the audience, the people, you made Barbie a global cultural phenomenon. Thank you. Thank you. We love you. Thank you. Thank you.
Amongst other winners, The Last of Us actor Pedro Pascal won Male TV Star of the Year. The HBO show also took home the award for Drama Show of the Year.
The Met Gala has officially announced this year's theme, along with 4 co-chairs who will be alongside of Anna Wintour. The co-chairs this year will be Bad Bunny, Chris Hemsworth, Jennifer Lopez, and fan favorite Zendaya. The official dress code for the event will be based on a 1962 short story by J.G. Ballard called The Garden of Time. It seems to suggest that the theme will involve beautiful flowers. Vogue says Ballard's story has plenty of reference on what kind of florals the guests will be wearing on the carpet.
Touchdown for collectors and fans everywhere. 2 former NHL linesmen started the Gulf Wish Fund over the weekend. The silent auction provided support for families facing medical challenges. It had Chiefs-related items such as a Patrick Mahomes signed jersey, plus this number 87 jersey has sparked a lot of attention. It's signed by tight end Travis Kelce and his pop star girlfriend Taylor Swift. The Kelce jersey was auctioned off Saturday afternoon with the highest bid at $21,000. There were a total of 25 bids. That is insane. How can you spend $21,000 on a jersey?
Maybe I would just do it because it has Taylor Swift's signature on there.
$21,000? That's amazing.
It's crazy. In basketball, Steph Curry saw it difficult versus WNBA sharpshooter Sabrina Ionescu in the first crossover league 3-point contest. The Golden State superstar narrowly edged over the New York Liberty guard 29-26 over the weekend. Ionescu was lights out from beyond the arc, making her first 7 straight shots. Curry would respond and close out within 29 points, hitting all of his money ball shots, which are worth double to be his female counterpart. That wasn't the only exciting part that day. G League player Matt McClung became the second player to win back-to-back slam dunk contests. He beat Boston All-Star Jaylen Brown, scoring a perfect 50 on his final dunk.
On to Sunday night's NBA All-Star game, where the East beat the West. Damian Lillard led the East in points with 39 and hit 11 threes to score the Kobe Bryant All-Star Game MVP trophy, adding another piece of hardware to his inventory this weekend.
That was the Motor Speedway flat tire. Oh my God! Y'all see this?
Karl Anthony Towns was on fire all night for the West, leading them by scoring 50 points. The East set a new All-Star scoring record, being the first team to score 200 points in an All-Star game, while both teams set the record for most points in a half. 211 to 186 was the final score. The All-Stars will now get a 3-day vacation and return to action on Thursday.
It's a thrilling moment for women in sports, as basketball player Caitlin Clark has broken a new record. Video showing the celebration, the University of Iowa talisman became the all-time leading scorer in the NCAA women's basketball. Clark drilled a 3-pointer, breaking a previous record 2 minutes into the game, and scored a personal and college one-game high of 49 points. She is now near the all-time scoring record in men's and women's NCAA basketball, being only 98 points behind the late Pete Maravich. That's all for us at Valley View News. I'm Quinn Alexander. And I'm Valeria Yanez. For stories any time of day, see our YouTube channel at Valley View News and our Instagram page at Valley View News CSUN. Thanks for watching.